The GIM Channel podcast, bringing you the big picture on geoscientific information management through interviews and discussions.
Hello, welcome to the latest episode of Acquire's podcast, The GIM Channel. I'm Sarah Mitchell, the host of The GIM Channel, and today I'm joined by Misha Stacker from Acquire and our guest speaker, Matt Hoffer. Hi, Matt.
Good morning.
Matt is an experienced geologist who has held a number of roles from project geologist at Newmont Mining Corporation up to chief geologist with Allied Nevada Gold Corp. Currently, he holds the role of Geology Manager with Coeur Mining and is based in Chicago in the United States. Welcome, Matt. Let's dig right into this. Could you tell us just a bit about your background and when you started your career as a geologist?
Sure. I started my career in 2005, so a little bit over 10 years ago. Started my career in the great state of Nevada, where I worked at a couple of large open pit gold and silver operations. It's a really good way to start a career in a deposit and operation of that kind of scale, because it really provides a valuable insight into kind of the broader scope of the metal industry. So, when you start in an operational setting, as a geologist, it's really grounding in the sense that you see the end product of what every geologist is working towards and what it takes to make all of that happen and be profitable. And you get the added benefit of seeing geology in 3D on a daily basis. So after a decade in the desert, I relocated to the Windy City of Chicago about 3 years ago, and took a role as a geologic database manager. And that role has evolved into a more, all-inclusive role of geology manager here at Coeur Mining.
That's excellent. Now, this is called the GIM Channel, which is an acronym for Geoscientific Information Management. If you're a database manager with a geology background or you are a geologist, could you just talk to us a little bit about what were some of the challenges that you faced with GIM when you started in the industry?
Well, that's a great question, because it really leads up to why I'm here in the role that I'm in now. When I started in 2005, my employer was a user of Acquire, and I was working as a mine geologist and a mine development geologist. But the database and all the GIM, if you so to say, was managed by an off-site database team. So all the QA/QC and all the data management kind of happened in the background, which is a blessing and a curse at the same time. I was able to focus on more mining and development type tasks, but I never really had to really wrap my head around the database management. It was all kind of packaged up and taken care of. So for me, that was a real challenge. So as I moved through the stages of my career to where I am today, I increasingly saw the need to improve my working knowledge of our geoscientific data and how it's managed. And so hence what I do here now in Chicago.
When you said that it was managed by an off-site team, so that was kept separate from the geologist, did you have an appreciation then about what it takes to make sure that the data is of high quality, that you can trust the data, that there's been proper quality control attached to that? Or was that just something that you were totally shielded from, or you weren't even aware of?
No, I definitely wouldn't say totally shielded from. The geologists, we always had to produce quarterly and annual reports. We had to have a working knowledge of the database management, but from the real kind of boots on the ground for data management, the management of the assay certificates and all the importing and all the work that I now know that goes into Acquire, I never had to manage that. And so to answer your question, I guess, yes, I have a great appreciation for the role that those people played at that time.
What do you see as the main challenges facing the natural resources industry right now?
Well, I've been I've been involved in silver and gold, and for me there's really three, and I think it's probably the three that a lot of people would also pick, but it's depth and scale and people. And by that, mines are getting deeper, and they require more geoscientific data to validate a resource. So this, that comes at a cost. Now we go in and we drill a 3,000-foot drill hole, and we need to get every little piece of information from that drill hole that we can. We can no longer afford to just assay for gold or assay for silver. So there's a cost, but that information is extremely valuable. So there's the depth issue, and then there's the scale issue. A lot of deposits are lower grade, and that requires larger scale bulk tonnage mining. So we need new methods that can make these things profitable. And then the last one, people, and I think we'll talk about that more, but as we evolve on a technical level, the industry being so volatile, people are always on the move. So whether it's your technical staff or your operational teams, so that the ongoing question is, how do you keep those people engaged and developing so you can maintain some degree of bench strength within your company?
Yeah, that's all very valid points there, Matt. I guess that leads into my next question. I guess it's focusing on, how do you think GIM initiatives help organisations in the current market conditions?
Well, acquire or something similar is, in my mind, vital in handling our data securely and effectively. So what I've seen is, and I'm biased now because I'm working in it on a daily basis, but having data in something like Acquire gives a lot of confidence to me and to outsiders looking in at a project. So we're in a world where there's mergers and acquisitions on a daily, weekly basis within the industry. So having a solid database and something secure like Acquire makes the data validation and the due diligence process move along so much more effectively and efficiently. And it provides a lot of confidence. So when I go in and if I would look at a project, if I can see that everything's stored in Acquire right off the bat, I feel good about it.
Matt, there's everything that you read right now within the mining industry and the natural resources industry, and actually in the larger business. There's three things that everybody's focused on, and I think this always happens when there's a economic downturn, but it's innovation, productivity, and efficiency. So how do you do less with more? How do you provide better quality, and how do you get ahead of the curve for the next round of business? So what innovative trends are you seeing emerging right now in the natural resources industry?
Well, let's see. There's a couple things that are kind of well underway, but they're not all the way there yet. So I guess they're developing and emerging trends, but we're still looking at a lot of projects and properties that are still working kind of in a hard copy world, whether it's for geologic mapping or core logging, and we're getting away from that now, and we're bringing in the technologies that are allowing us to log remotely, to map on ruggedized tablets in the field, and the reason that's so important is that it increases the efficiency for generating a geologic model and generating a resource. If we can capture that information and it can immediately go to a centralized location and be available for the people that need it, we're already light years ahead of where we are in some cases now. So I think that's really a big thing for me as a geologist on the productivity and efficiency side of things. And another being, some of the cloud-based central data storage and centralization ideas. They're making progress, and I think they still have a way to go. We're really challenged with we as technical geologists and engineers, because our data sets are huge. We're talking core photos and mine designs and aerial photos. And so a lot of the cloud storage is really challenging. It's hard to move those big data sets back and forth. But I think we're getting there, and once we do, these kind of solutions are going to reduce the cost. They're going to increase the speed of generating resources, and they'll just overall improve how we share and integrate our information.
Has your company adopted any of those initiatives, like the cloud-based stuff that you're talking about?
Well, we're moving into SharePoint as a cloud-based storage. So we're in the we're in the moving stages, I guess is a good way to put it. So yeah, we're working towards that, and that comes with its own challenges. Mine sites are remote, and so those communications are difficult to establish. And like I said, for the data sets that we try and move on a daily basis, but it's a good work in progress, and there's certainly a light at the end of the tunnel, and yeah, I think that answers it.
Okay. From a business perspective, from your day-to-day, I think you've explained it really well, but what do you think the business benefit is from GIM, and why do you think other companies should have GIM, or GIM should be used more prevalently? You talked earlier about this, a lot of the industry still living in a hard copy world.
Yeah. Okay, well, on a business end, and I'll use some examples of kind of some of the new technologies that we're looking at here. One of the things that Acquire brings, and Coeur is a supporter of, is Acquire Neo and Acquire Neo Web and Neo Report. And what that gives us is the ability to present our daily operational data, to share it across the sites, and to share it with the office in Chicago. So for example, we can have VPs or managers here in Chicago, and then they want to know on a daily basis, what's been mined, what's been produced, what the progress is on a drilling program, and we can pull that information live, direct from Acquire for non-Acquire users. So the value there is, once again, it's the efficiency of sharing information. It's putting together press releases and reports, and all of those things from a business standpoint become a lot easier to do, and there's a lot of confidence in the data. Other things we're looking at doing, there's Imago that's out there, which is something that I think Federico is developing, which is cloud-based storage for core photos. Core photos are notorious for being, they started out being piled in boxes and thrown in the corner of a warehouse, and now they're stored digitally, but oftentimes it's hard to locate them. So this is another thing where we're moving to improve how we store that information so that we can actually use it again should the time come.
Matt, are you talked earlier or a couple minutes ago about using some of that data and the information that you're able to pull out for things like press releases and reporting to the business. Is the business understanding the benefit of GIM? Are they supporting that, and are they becoming aware of how important it is, especially when you consider what they used to do, or what the business in general used to do? You were just talking about those all those images being stacked up in a corner somewhere that were just printed on photo paper.
Yeah, absolutely. What we're doing here with GIM is certainly supported, and it's part of our best practice. So it's not an option for us at our operations, and that's how we manage our data, and I believe we probably will going forward. So it's definitely supported, and some of the newer technologies are being reviewed and given a shot.
That's excellent to hear. We've been asking people, what do you think the industry is going to look like 10 years from now? If you could fast forward into 2026, what do you think is going to be what are we going to be seeing? 2026,
10 years from now, it's, since I've only got about 10 years to base that on, there's a lot of new things coming out and a lot of technological developments and changes in how we do things, but I don't see any drastic changes in 10 years. But I think along the way, it's important that we, to achieve kind of that trifecta of goals, is we kind of need to change how our people are doing things, in the sense that, mining, that I always say that the worst thing about mining is that it's 24/7. You leave work and you come back and everything's changed through the course of the night. So it's our people need to be, they need to be able to work from where they are. They need to be able to respond to problems, and they're going to need the technologies to do that. And I think, the faster the industry recognizes this and is able to develop those technologies, the more productive we'll be.
I think that's great, Matt. And we'll wrap it up here. But thank you so much for spending time with us over your first cup of coffee for today. If you've enjoyed our discussion, please tell your friends and colleagues about the podcast, which you can find on our Acquire newsroom at acquire.com.au. Thanks so much, Matt.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a pleasure.
You've been listening to Acquire's podcast, the GIM Channel. Find us at acquire.com.au.